A quadrilateral is a figure with four sides, and here we're going to take a look at some of those quadrilaterals that will be most important in our course. We're going to draw a sketch of each and then talk about the properties of each one. A trapezoid, you may be familiar with, is a figure that looks like that. And the key to a trapezoid is the fact that it has exactly one pair of opposite sides that are parallel. Let's take a look at that. In this figure, these are opposite sides, and these are opposite sides. And you can see the ones marked with blue are not parallel, the ones marked with green are parallel. One pair, the green pair, of opposite sides are parallel, and that means exactly one pair, so the other one is not. Only one pair of opposite sides are parallel when we have a trapezoid. You might be thinking, well, what if both pairs of opposite sides are parallel? And that's when we have a parallelogram. In a parallelogram, both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. And we can see that in the picture. This pair of opposite sides is parallel to each other, and this pair of opposite sides are parallel to each other. And when both pairs of opposite sides are parallel, we have a parallelogram. We're going to take a look at three different parallelograms that you're probably pretty familiar with. The first of those is a rectangle. And the property that makes this a rectangle is the fact that all the angles are 90 degrees. We can mark that in each of the corners if we want to, making absolutely certain to let people know that this is a rectangle. But what makes that figure a rectangle is the fact that all the angles are 90 degrees. Less familiar for most of us than the rectangle is the rhombus. What makes this a rhombus is the fact that all sides are the same length. We can see that in my sketch, but just to make doubly sure, if we want to, we can mark those with tick marks to show that all four of those side lengths are indeed the same. And that's what makes this one a rhombus. Finally here, we have a figure that you're probably very familiar with, and that is a square. Now, a square is very interesting because in a square, all of the angles are 90 degrees and all of the sides are the same length. What this means is that a square is a very special kind of parallelogram that happens to meet the conditions of being a rectangle, and a square also meets the conditions of being a rhombus. So a square is a special kind of rectangle, and it's also a special kind of rhombus. Make sure you're familiar with these quadrilaterals and how they relate to each other.